Basically, we started this exploration into research a couple of years back. We're an insights mining company, and said we need to look at research. And we looked at mobile as a big opportunity because just to go with the same traditional methods would be difficult. So we were exploring many applications of using mobile as a method for data collection. Looking at television advertising and how people watch television advertising, they're usually on the sofa, relaxed. They're sort of at home, laid back, and that's how they watch television. And that's also changing with newer and newer screens coming in. It's becoming, television watching is coming to the tablets, they're coming into the mobile phones, so there's a lot of video viewership that are happening in the new media as well. And it is also getting very intimate because you're sitting in your bed and watching it. So basically, television is very warm, fuzzy, intimate kind of an environment. Compared to that, if you look at the way in which television advertising testing is done in many markets, especially in the emerging markets, where we do a central location testing. Now, central location testing is time consuming. There is transportation time. You've got to ferry the respondents from their location to a central location, which could take 45 minutes each way. The interview setting is a little bit more artificial. It's almost like an interview session, which is completely different. And the viewing setting is also a little bit artificial. So we are testing television advertising in a CLT market in a very much different platform than how consumers consume advertising. There is an opportunity to actually not bring the consumer to the ad, which is the central location testing, but to take the ad to the consumers through a tablet. And that's basically the idea that we tested out. So you take an ad and the questionnaire on the tablet, take it to the consumer, let the consumer see it in her own environment, her home, her living room, and with less stress, less time, and a pleasant touchscreen experience. And basically, it's a face-to-face interview. The tablet replaces pen and paper, and the tablet also enables a lot of technological advances, which I'll come to, which improves the quality of the data. And it's in the consumer's own environment. Essentially, it's an app which is shown, the ad is shown on the tablet. It's easy touchscreen experience. Voice recording of the verbatim, that's something that we realized that rather than record all the responses in open-ended in text form, we actually use the tablet technology of recording verbatim what they're saying and post-transcribing it later, and instant upload of the data. It takes, the questionnaire that we developed takes less than 15 minutes. There's a lot of talk about that, so I won't spend. It is the least intrusion because you don't have to transport people from one location to another. You can do it at their own homes. And therefore, we get a lot better authentic responses. This is what our respondents have been telling us. More than 80% of the people say it's easy or extremely easy. And they like it because it's an enjoyable experience. It is unique and innovative. It saves paper. There's lots of good things that they see about. So and we've tested it in India to begin with, where we would say that how would they get used to a tablet? It's going to be difficult. But we've tested it not only in the big cities in India, but we've gone down to the smaller towns and sometimes even the rural areas. And we found that this is the kind of reaction that we're getting from the people. The payoffs that we're getting of using the technology is voice recording first. Voice recording was a big breakthrough because voice recording it and then analyzing it later enriches the quality of the open-ended answers. Instant upload, the real-time upload reduces the speed, increases the speed and reduces the time for analysis. So we can actually turn it around, maybe not in days, but in weeks, in a week or 10 days. GPS tracking has been very powerful, especially when you're doing research in a large country across different cities. GPS tracking automatically tracks where the interview is taking place, how long did the person take to do the interview, fill up the questionnaire. If it is less than a certain amount of time, then you start wondering. So there's a lot of quality check mechanism that, thanks to this technology, we could actually put into the protocol. And also, being able to do it over a wider geography simultaneously rather than over the CLT mechanism. We've now so far done 45 odd tests across 7 countries. Some of the clients are beginning to look at it as a protocol. and benchmarking databases are being developed. My client is unfortunately not able to come today because she had to be called into the chairman's meeting, which is what typically happens with many client organizations. So I'm going to take you through one case that we did for Imami. Imami is a consumer product company which is based out of India, and they're the number 3 or number 4 consumer products company in the country. This is the ad for a antiseptic cream. Now, an antiseptic cream, they have emerged outside of just being antiseptic to a multi-purpose cream. And this television that they created was centered around a protagonist who's a busy housewife who leads a busy life. And a part of that busy life is this antiseptic cream, which helps her keep herself protected and her family protected. That's the sort of story that was there in the commercial. And we found that through this test is that there are 2 very strong memory hooks that consumers took out. One was that the protagonist character, the way she was built up, was very, very memorable. They all talked about this character, which they built up. And the use of the jingle was something that they really said it's a memorable jingle, it's a tune that we like, it's something that we really realize. And in terms of performance, the 2 messages that got through were the multi-purpose application of the cream, which was one of the intended measurements, and also the fact that it has natural ingredients. It's a combination of natural ingredients, therefore is safe for the consumers. And as you can see, the quantitative part of it, natural ingredients was at the top for the entire family, makes life germ-free. So you get all the details. And we also have a method of actually assessing the emotional impact of the advertising. And we find that on many of these dimensions like exciting, happy, warm and fuzzy, those are the dimensions where the ad was scoring really high. So and then based on that, they took a decision to go ahead, and I think the ads really done beautifully in that market. So basically, that's what I want to share with you. It's essentially a good way to turn the things around, and we found that actually, rather than being more expensive, compared to a CLT, it actually works out to be more cost-effective. And so the basic learning that we have is it's a better respondent experience compared to CLT. It captures open-ended responses better, because sometimes we lose some of the value when people are scribbling notes on the open-ended questions. It has higher quality control, thanks to the GPS, quicker turnaround times, and possible to cover much wider geography, which is there. And also in terms of cost, it can be more value efficient. So it's a solution that would actually work not only for advertising research, but in any market where face-to-face pen and paper methodology is being used. This could actually be a much better in terms of quality, as well as in terms of time efficiency, a better way to replace pen and paper with a tablet device.
I have one question about verbatim recording. So please correct me if my understanding is wrong. Do you mean that instead of open-ended answers, which respondents have to type in, they actually record it?
Yes.
And after that, yeah. And how do you actually get it into text, from voice to text?
Post the interview, that voice file gets translated back into our computer system instantly. Okay. And we have backroom people who are transcribing it. Like you transcribe a group discussion, you actually transcribe the open-ended answers.
In that case, because when you type the open answer into the text box, you immediately get the text without transcribing.
Right.
So I was a little bit concerned about lead time. For example, if you use someone to actually listen to it and transcribe it, may I know how many times does it take in terms of lead time?
It would take 1 or 2 days extra, but don't forget that the data is actually coming in instantly. So the moment the interview is over, it's actually being captured at the center. So we have people sitting at the back room and actually doing the translation. So it is possible to also do almost simultaneous transcribing through the manual process.
Okay, sorry, my question comes quite spontaneously. So what is the actual advantage of you keying in using the
right.
app
Right.
and the benefits of using a voice recording?
So there are a couple of things. When you're doing research in a country like India, you are doing research in many languages.
Okay.
And the keyboards are not prepared in those languages. So you have to depend on the interviewer's ability to translate what he's hearing from the respondent into English and key it into English. And that would take, the quality would suffer. It will also interrupt the process because by the time he does the transcribing, it would take another 2 minutes or 3 minutes per question. But by verbatim recording, we are actually eliminating that time that the interview takes. And we are actually getting quality information because that's what we're actually capturing, the tonality and everything else. So we can hear back later what the consumer actually said. So there is that advantage as well.
Okay, sorry, one final question. Do you actually get more, because I'm actually a very lazy person, I hate to type. So for example, do you actually get more data or more information if you convert, if you change the collection methodology to voice recording?
We actually tested, first when you're doing the pilots, we tested with the typing. And we found that the consumers were getting a little bit more distracted when the interviewer was doing the typing. Then we said, why can't we use the technology which the tablet provides to do the voice recording? So, and that worked brilliantly. So we found that it actually improved the quality of response as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm curious about this, and as I understand, you had a field team carrying these tablets
Right.
across different cities in India. Why the choice of tablets? And why not? Because we know that 1 in 4 existing TV users, use a second screen while they're watching television, either probably browsing through real life events or
Right.
using social media. So why this choice of tablets vis-a-vis mobile?
So the tablets would give it's a 7-inch tablet, so it would actually give a much better picture quality rather than small mobile. So that's why we said that why not take a tablet rather than mobile. Mobile people get used to watching it with a very, very small screen, and some of the nuances could get missed out. So that's why we sort of zoomed in on the 7-inch tablet, and we've invested in the tablets as a result, as part of the field work.
And you said that this was real time, so you could get
It is
data.
real time, yeah.
And so how did you come across the connectivity and the infrastructure challenges? Because you're talking about GPS, and
Right.
you said you took it beyond the top 10, top 15 cities to rural and small towns.
Right.
So how did you overcome the challenges around lack of infrastructure, lack of connectivity in these locations?
Okay. So the way the app was developed, it was the real-time connectivity was not mandatory. So if you didn't have connectivity, then the response would be stored on the tablet. The entire questionnaire would be stored on the tablet. And when the person came into a high connectivity zone, it could be uploaded simultaneously. So the facility was there, but it was not mandatory for us to be able to upload it instantly. It could be stored on the device.
In terms of how did you select the tablet? So how did you trade off price, stealability, brand, battery life? How are you going to recharge? So what were sort of the steps you went through in selecting?
That's a challenge dealing with this technology. So when we invested about a year and a half, we selected what is the best value mix that we judged various tablets. But I think as we look at it today, we're seeing that maybe a better option would have been to go for a different, because the technology evolves so much and the picture quality is improving so much every day. So it is, if we were a larger company, like let's say Milford Brand, we could actually write off that cost of tablets very, very quickly because we would do a lot of research. So if you do about 20 projects, you would write off the cost of the tablets very, very easily. In our case, it was a passion, it was an investment. We wanted to try something new, so we invested in that. And we got partners outside of India who have also invested. Small numbers, but they have invested, like Morocco, Algeria, these countries, they have actually acquired tablets to do this kind of testing.
Can you talk a little bit about, because I think the real innovation is how you've used voice.
Right.
And the analysis of voice
Right.
in getting the tonality. What were you really measuring through voice? And how did you go about in the analysis phase?
On voice, if you're asking whether the question is whether we are looking at, whether we are measuring the tonality of the voice, I must admit that that's the next step that we should go to. Right now, because the speed at which you need the research results, we actually use the voice mode to capture the information in real time and then transcribe it. And so we're not using the tonality of the voice, which I think is a very good suggestion in terms of going forward. Are people really sounding disgusted and bored when they're saying, yeah, I like it, or not? I think that would be the really next level of analysis. Right now, it's really recording what the consumers are saying in real time and transcribing it. That's how we are using voice.
And was there a lot of time invested in because you have a field staff going to
Right.
people and interviewing? How much time and investment kind of went into training of field staff to actually execute such a large scale project?
It's not difficult because I think most of the field people are quite familiar. It makes the lives easier. The app is a very easy app. I think within half a day people get practice in using it. I don't think the technology is that complicated.